Hello and welcome once again to Akosia's vlog. If you are new here, kindly subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the notification bell when you're done. In today's recipe, we are preparing Waakye stew, the Zongo or the Hausa way. This is a popular request from my viewers and I'm so excited to share with you how this delicious recipe is made so that you can enjoy with your Waakye anytime. You know, in this recipe today, I'm going to show you the difference between the normal stew used for jollof and others, and then our Zongo style of preparing our Waakye stew. Come with me as I take you through today. First of all, I have my proteins. I have Kahuro, some Kotodwe. I have my intestines. I have beef. I have Nyamanyama, or some also call it Y3moade3 towel or whatever. I have my fish. I also have my eggs. I have my tin mackerel, my oil, my curry powder. I have my bay leaf as well. And then I have my salt to taste. Here I have my tin tomato or my tomato paste. I have some shrimp and Amane powder, my local homemade spices too, my nutmeg and mixed of vegetables. I have some tomatoes, my ginger, my habanero pepper, some garlic and then onion. Now we are going to begin with the proteins and this is the time to boil it. So I'm washing everything and then I'll place it nicely in my saucepan and then add a little bit of water with salt to taste. This should be the saltiest part of your food. When you're done, give it a quick stir and then cover it to allow it to cook till the water has evaporated or it has been absorbed. On the other hand, I'm boiling my eggs too. This is optional. You can cook it together with your meat and when it's time to season it, you just take it out. So whilst I'm waiting for the two to cook beautifully, I'm also chopping my vegetables on the other side. You need to be multitasking when you are cooking. It helps a lot. So I'm blending my onion, garlic, ginger into a paste and then I'll set it aside. After, I'll go ahead and start chopping the rest of the vegetables too for the stew. The one I blended earlier is for the seasoning of my meat or my protein. So I'll quickly cut it into the size that my blender can easily blend smoothly. This is optional. If your blender can blend yours whole, why don't you do it that way? So I'm cutting my garlic and then my habanero pepper together with my ginger, tomatoes and onions. Always make sure to add fresh tomatoes to your stew too, even if you are using only your tomato paste for your stew. It makes it so sweet and it gives it its natural taste again. Set it aside and check on your meat when you're done. Now my eggs are cooked, so I'll also take it off the fire and then set it aside. And then check on my proteins as well. These ones are also cooked. The water has absorbed a little and I like the result. So it's time to season it. So I'm going to add my onion, garlic, ginger paste to this and then give it a quick stir. Also, I'll add my homemade spices to it. You can use any seasoning powder or cube of your choice. Give it a quick stir, cover it and allow it to continue to cook a little more for about 10 to 15 minutes and take it out of the fire. This is the time to blend the rest of the vegetables too. So I'll quickly do that and then set it aside too. Now we are done with the preparation process, so it's time to check on our meat and then we will continue with the cooking process. So it's about time we check on our meat. It's well done. I like the results, so I'll just give it a quick stir. I'm not going to throw the stock or the water away. I'll just reserve it and add it to my stew later on. So I'll move on to the stew preparation. In a saucepan, I'm going to put my oil into it, heat it up, and then start with the frying. I'm going to fry only the meat because I do not want to fry my yamadiye and the rest of the protein. So when it's brown or to your satisfaction, you take it out and then you add the next protein. So I'm going to fry my fish too, and then I will quickly set it aside. You see, I'm using the same oil for my stew, so please take note of it and don't use too much oil at this stage. You can be frying your meat in batches or in smaller sizes so that you can do a lot with your oil. That way you don't waste oil, and then it's also good because you add it right away to your stew, which is still healthy. So when it's also done, or when it's golden brown to my satisfaction, I'll just take it out of the fire and then set it aside. Make sure that you fry it to be a little bit harder, or in Twi we say maninchne kakra, because I'll be adding some to my stew, and then when it's soft at this stage and you add it to the stew, it will continue to break up, or it will tear up in the stew, which I don't like. So I also fried just 2 of my eggs for shege reasons too. So I'm going to start with my stew, and I'm just slicing some onion into my heated oil. This one we are going to cook on medium heat, so I just cut just half of my onion into it. Remember that I've added a lot of onion while blending it together with the tomatoes and habanero pepper too. So when it's golden brown or it's translucent like you see here, I add the rest of my vegetables to it. So this is the blended tomato, onion, ginger, garlic, and then I'm going to give it a quick stir. After, I will just cover it up and allow it to cook on medium heat till the water has been drained or it has been absorbed. Continue checking on your stew once in a while, about a minute or 2 if you are using a stainless steel saucepan. You give it a quick stir, you cover it. Make sure that when you come in to check on it, you lower your heat because it can splatter and then give you accidents in the kitchen, and we wouldn't want that. So at this stage, mine is done. The oil has separated from the stew, we all can see, and it's time to add my tomato paste to my stew. Whilst doing this, I've also lowered my heat so that it doesn't splatter on me. And then at this stage, you can add keum or your baking soda, which is optional. We use keum or baking soda just a little so that it breaks the sourness or the sweetness that we feel in our tomato paste. So we are the tomato paste ne ekanwa ya na to den toast ni mu keka anasa na frim ma bomu ne nhyeda nya de bisan because ye dey si training ne ma ne bi frafra enti wo de kan anasa baking soda ne kanwa na ateno na ma na ye there. So I'm adding my 10 mackerel, my tuna flakes to this, and then I'll mash it up a little bit and then continue with my stirring process. I love to stir a lot, so I added my Amane and my shrimp powder together. Here I'm adding my nutmeg together, and then I'll give it one quick stir. Never forget your curry powder too. I added about a tablespoon of it, and then I'm good to go. My bay leaves. This one makes the aroma very heavenly, so do well to add bay leaves to your stew too. And remember that we do not need a lot of the bay leaves because it will make the stew better. After you add your seasoning powder and continue stirring it, you cover, you come and check once in a while till the stew turns brown. That's the only difference between the normal stew for jollof and the Zongo way of preparing a stew for our Waakye recipe. So now it's almost done, so I'll just give it a quick stir and add my rest of the protein so that it also simmers together with it. So the difference is that with a local stew or the Zongo way of preparing the Waakye stew, it takes a little bit longer. We make sure to cook it for at least an hour or two so that the stew turns brown. When it turns brown, it has another aroma compared to when we are using it for jollof. And with jollof stew, we can add our carrot, we can add our green pepper and the likes to make it more aromatic, but this one is optional. You can choose not to, and it's good. This is the typical way of preparing our Zongo stew. So today I'm going to give a quick shout out to Violet Asante and Deborah Benson. These two ladies have been blessing me every day with their sharing and commenting on my videos. For Deborah Benson, she sells kitchen appliances on Facebook and all social media handles, and her name is Tulip Ventures. So whenever you need any kitchen appliances, cookware or whatever, make sure to contact her. So at this stage, I'm adding my nyamanyama and then my rest of the proteins into my stew. Nyamanyama is mostly called by those in Ashanti region, Kumasi to be precise, but it's yamade also. So whatever you call it, that is how it's supposed to be called. So when your stew is too thick, kindly add a little bit of water to it to loosen it up a bit. But then since I'm eating it in the house, I prefer to make it thick so that when I take small, it becomes plenty. But when you're selling it, make sure to dilute it a little bit more. You can eat this stew with rice too, and trust me, it goes really well with it. Kenke or with any other food of your choice. You can even eat it with gari. Thank you, lovely people, for subscribing and watching my videos every day. Don't forget to like, share, comment on my videos for more recipes. Bye bye.